At the time, you know, with new song and movies coming out, and yeah, I thought, man, this is it. This is the big time.
Michael O'Brien hit the big time as the frontman in the award-winning group New Song. But he was hiding a big secret, one he had kept since childhood. Michael was only 6 when he got his first look at a pornographic magazine. Then, when he was 11...
My dad was making some copies for a friend of his of these hardcore pornographic movies, and one was laying around the house one day. I was 11, and I said, well, that's interesting, so I just plopped that in, and then I was hooked.
This fascination with pornography affected his relationships with girls.
Yeah, I started kind of, even acting some of those things out, just living a sexually immoral life, basically, with girlfriends.
Michael entered college with a mindset that mixed sexual promiscuity with alcohol and drugs.
I was living just a corrupt life, and I'd feel guilty, and then I'd feel regret, and so I'd run to church, try to get clean, and do good for a week or two, and back to the same thing again.
After nearly overdosing on cocaine, Michael ran back to church like he had done so many times before. But this time, the pastor had a message for him.
He says, you need to make a 180 from the life that you're living. He says, you need to receive this gift of salvation. And that was like the lights on. Yes, that's the truth. I know it. And I'm surrendering my heart to Christ.
Michael also got clean from drugs and alcohol. He eventually joined a Christian singing entourage where he met his wife, Heidi. The two quickly fell in love.
His voice attracted me, but it was his really just sincere enthusiasm for Christ that made me fall in love with him.
In 1994, Michael's passion for music and ministry landed him a record deal. And although he was newly married and had given his life to Christ, his old addiction reared its head.
When I was having a bad time with Heidi, if we were fighting, or just the intimacy wasn't there, I'd go somewhere that I knew I wasn't supposed to go to try to fulfill that, and just got darker and darker.
For 7 years, Michael fought lustful thoughts, which eventually led to a struggle with online pornography. He kept his secret well hidden, especially from his wife. Then finally guilt overwhelmed him, and he decided it was time to tell Heidi.
It was absolutely horrible. I know that people think, well, it's not really adultery, but that's what it felt like.
Heidi forgave Michael, but when he hit the road again with New Song, she was essentially a single mother raising their children. She became lonely and depressed.
Did you realize at the time what you were doing to her?
No, I didn't.
The whole thing was just sort of messed up. But I think you just hit this rock bottom, and you have a choice. Or are we going to stay true to our commitment before the Lord and do whatever we have to do?
The Spirit of God convicted me in a way. When you open yourself up to the things of God, really, truly, and you, number one, you grieve, you have that repentant heart, you realize, okay, this sin is not only affecting me, it's affecting the ones that I love, and it's the thing that nailed Jesus to the cross. When you realize that, I believe, God just opens up your heart, and He shines that light on that sin, and He's like, I want that out of there.
Something clicked within him, and that was a dramatic turnaround in our relationship. And I think he was really, really finally convicted about his sin. And then all of a sudden, I was feeling loved, really loved for the first time in our marriage.
Today, Michael is a committed father and husband. He says his new album, Something About Us, is an outpouring of the love God showed him. And it is dedicated to Heidi.
Because of all that God had done in our relationship and how I had been so beautifully loved for several years, I was able to just openly receive it because it was real and I knew He meant it.
truth is, Jesus saved our marriage. God begins to heal and restore and redeem.
If you seek him with all your heart, he promises that you'll find him. And he is a deliverer.
It's just an exciting time for our family to be an O'Brien and be able to say, you know what, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord.